Okay guys and girls, this is going to be introduction to the bench press, so we're going to go over the basics of how to get set up. You'll need to watch this and get familiar with the concepts in this before you even start the program. First thing you need to think about is the settings of the rack here. This setting up here is where you're going to take the bar off, and this is the safety catcher pin as well. So both of these are important. You need to be able to take the bar off at a point which is just high enough that you can unrack it and re-rack it without getting stuck. You don't want it too high that once you've finished your set, you can't get it back in. So for me, so this is on number 10 at the moment. So if I go down and look, so I know with a bit of weight on the bar pushing me down, that's actually going to be probably too high. So I'm going to take it down a level, onto level 9. And this way, when I'm doing my working sets and it's a bit pushing me down, I'm still going to be able to clear it and get it back in without struggling at all. So I'll just check that again. So that's perfect for me. These ones here, I know I tend to have it a little bit higher, so that's on level 7, so I can check that now. If I unrack it, so what I did there was I brought it down, checked that it was still clearing the pins at the bottom, and then I slid it up to check that it was going to be protecting my face. Because really what this is for is if the bar comes down, you don't want it to hit your neck or your face. You want your chest to be higher than it because you don't want it to interrupt the actual range of motion. So for me, 7 is fine. Now the actual setting yourself up, what I want you to think about is getting your shoulders back and down and holding that position. That's the only thing you're going to focus on to start with, is just shoulders back and down, chest as high as possible, and really hold on to that bar. So if I don't do that, it'll look like this. And if you look at that range of motion, how long that is, how far I'm having to press it, if I tuck my shoulders back and down and raise my chest, you see how much shorter that is? If I relax it, I go back to there. So we don't want to be there. We want to be here. And where I was bringing it was actually quite low on the chest. So not bringing it down here. We want to arch, get everything as high as possible and bring it to that high point, which is what we were doing there. Everything you're going to do to start with will be paused press. So you'll unrack, pause in the chest, and you'll pause in between reps as well. And that'll make it harder to stay tight. So what you'll really want to focus on is keeping that position the whole way through. And at each pause at the top, just recheck and re-tighten to make sure. When you're lining up to unrack the bar as well, make sure that it's probably level with about your chin, because you don't want to have to pull it too far. If you're too far down the bench, when you unrack it, you're in a really weak position, you're right back here and having to pull it. You don't want that. You don't want to have to pull it too far each time when you do it. So that's it. So that's the basics of it. So make sure you get these set the same. It'll be written on your program what height you have them. So check that each time you do it. Make sure you get nice and tight on each rep, holding that position throughout the set. Make sure you pause at the top and the bottom, and make sure you don't set up too low or too high on the bench.